Have you ever wondered what darkness hides in the quietest corners of history? What horrors creep through towns no one dares to speak of? This is the story of Prudence Hoffman and the terror that haunted the Missouri Ozarks in 1834. The year was 1834. The Missouri Ozarks, wild, untamed, silent. Mist curled over the hills every morning, hiding secrets no one dared speak aloud. Prudence Hoffman lived at the edge of town, a weathered log cabin, alone, or so the townsfolk thought. She was peculiar, not cruel, not malicious, but her eyes, they held something unreadable, something that made neighbors avert their gaze. At night, strange noises echoed from her cabin. Soft cries, scraping footsteps, shadows moving where shadows shouldn't be. Children were warned. "Stay away from Prudence House," mothers whispered. Even men hurried past, glancing nervously. Then the incidents began. First, small. Livestock disappearing. Windows mysteriously shattered. A sense of unease settling like fog. Then, things escalated. People reported odd sightings in the forest. A figure glimpsed through the trees, eyes glowing in the darkness, whispers calling names that should never be spoken. Fear spread like wildfire. Mothers clutched their children tighter. Husbands stayed awake by candlelight. Every footstep, every creaking branch made hearts race. Prudence Hoffman's name became tangled with darkness itself. No one knew if she was the cause or the victim. And this is only the beginning, a tale of suspicion, terror, and horror that would haunt the Missouri Ozarks for years to come. If you want to uncover the chilling secrets of Prudence Hoffman, stay with us as we dive deeper into her story. Before we continue, share this video, comment your thoughts, subscribe so you never miss a story that chills you to the bone. Prudence Hoffman was not born strange. At least, not at first. She came into the world in a modest log cabin, deep in the Missouri Ozarks. The year, 1812, a time when life was harsh. Survival was a daily struggle. Her parents were simple folk, hard-working, quiet. But they had secrets, whispers in the night, shadows that moved when no one was looking. Prudence grew up fast. By the time she was 10, she already knew the forests like the back of her hand. She could track animals, find herbs, read the weather in the wind. Yet something about her unsettled the other children. They called her odd. She talks to shadows. She hears whispers no one else can. Prudence didn't answer. She simply walked alone, through the woods, by the river, always watching, always listening. Her teenage years brought more strangeness. Animals would avoid her. Crops near her cabin would fail mysteriously. Neighbors swore they saw flickers of light in her windows at night. No fire burned there, no candle, yet a glow appeared. She never spoke of it. She never explained the whispers. But the town noticed, and whispers spread. What is Prudence Hoffman hiding? Why does misfortune follow her? Is she cursed? By 1830, Prudence was 20. And by then, the first truly terrifying events began. Livestock vanished. Homes were damaged by unseen forces. People claimed shadows moved on their own. Some said Prudence was behind it. Some whispered she was protecting herself. But no one could be sure. The town was on edge. Fear grew like a living thing, and Prudence Hoffman seemed to fade deeper into the darkness. This is where the real horror begins, where shadows start to stir, and where Prudence's true story begins to unravel. If you're brave enough to continue, like, share, comment, and subscribe, because what comes next will chill you to the bone. It started quietly. At first, just small things. A chicken missing, a door left wide open, a strange noise in the night. The townsfolk tried to ignore it. Animals wander off sometimes. It's probably the wind. But the signs kept coming. Livestock found dead in the forest, windows smashed for no reason, footprints that led nowhere. And then whispers, soft, eerie whispers that floated on the wind, voices calling names of people who had just gone to bed. Children began to cry at night, claiming they saw shadows in the corners of their rooms, figures moving outside, just beyond the candlelight. Some adults laughed, some prayed, some stayed awake, clutching their rifles, listening. All eyes turned to Prudence Hoffman, the girl who walked alone in the forest, the girl who never answered questions, the girl whose cabin glowed at night with no fire inside. No one had proof. No one could say for certain. But fear settled in like a living thing. Then it happened. A farmer's wife disappeared, vanished without a trace. Only her scarf was found snagged on a tree branch. Nearby, strange footprints, small, clog, and impossible to identify. The town panicked. Meetings were held in the church. People argued, blamed each other, blamed Prudence. Prudence stayed silent. She moved through the town as usual, her eyes calm, but something in her gaze, something in the shadows that clung to her, made even the bravest men uneasy. Fear grew. Rumors spread like wildfire. She's cursed. She's a witch. She controls the shadows. And deep in the forests of the Ozarks, something was watching, waiting, hungry for more. The town had no idea. The true horror was only beginning. If you want to uncover what happens next, share this video, comment your theories, and subscribe, because the story of Prudence Hoffman is far from over. The town tried to sleep, but sleep had abandoned them. Every night brought whispers. Every shadow seemed alive. Then the first true horror struck. It was a cold, moonless night. The wind howled through the Ozarks like a living thing. A farmer named Jacob Miller woke to screams, screams that ripped through the silence. He grabbed his lantern, rushed outside, and saw something that would haunt him forever. In the middle of the road, a body. A young boy from the village. His eyes wide, frozen in terror. No marks, no blood, but something unnatural had claimed him. The town panicked. Doors were bolted, prayers whispered into the night. Men formed search parties, rifles raised, hearts pounding. All trails led to Prudence's cabin, the cabin that glowed at night with no fire, the cabin where shadows moved on their own. When they approached, a cold wind slammed the door shut. Lanterns flickered, figures moved just beyond the trees. Prudence Hoffman appeared, standing in the doorway, silent, calm, unafraid. "Did you do this?" someone demanded. Her eyes unreadable. No answer. The town's fear erupted. Some wanted to burn her out, some wanted to flee, but no one could act. Not with the shadows swirling around them, not with that cold, unnatural air pressing in. That night, the first horror became real, and the town realized something terrifying. This wasn't random. This wasn't nature. This was something else. And Prudence Hoffman was at the center. If you're brave enough to follow the next of this chilling tale, like, share, comment your thoughts, and subscribe. The horrors of the Missouri Ozarks have only just begun. The town was trembling. Fear had become a living thing. No one slept. No one trusted their neighbor. Families huddled together. Candles burned all night. The forests seemed darker than ever. Every rustle, every branch snap sent hearts racing. The church became a gathering place. Whispers filled the pews. Prudence Hoffman did this. She is cursed. She walks with shadows. Some demanded action. Some demanded protection. Arguments flared. Old grudges resurfaced. Fear made monsters of men. A group of brave or foolish men decided to investigate Prudence's cabin. Lanterns raised, rifles ready, they marched into the darkness. The closer they got, the colder the air became. Lanterns flickered, shadows moved, whispers echoed in the trees. They reached the cabin. The door swung open on its own. No one inside. No sign of Prudence. Only the faint glow and the silence. Meanwhile, strange events continued in the town. Animals vanished. Objects moved without explanation. People claimed to hear voices calling their names in the dead of night. Rumors spread like wildfire. Prudence is not human. She controls something beyond us. She is the darkness itself. Even those who had once been kind to her now looked at her with suspicion. Fear had infected every home, every heart. Prudence Hoffman remained calm, silent, watching. Her cabin stood at the edge of town, a constant reminder that something was waiting. The town realized they could no longer ignore her. The terror was real, and it was growing. If you want to see how the horror escalates, how Prudence Hoffman becomes the center of a nightmare the town can't escape, share this video, comment your thoughts, and subscribe. The story of 1834 Missouri Ozarks is far from over. The Ozarks were no longer the same. Fear had settled in every home, every street, every forest path. People whispered about Prudence Hoffman. Some said she was cursed. Some said she was chosen by something darker. No one knew for sure. Strange clues began appearing, footprints in the forest that disappeared into thin air. Objects in homes moved or broken. Windows shattered, but no one saw anyone near. The children spoke of shadows that followed them, figures glimpsed from the corner of their eyes, soft whispers in the wind calling their names. A local hunter claimed he saw Prudence walking through the trees, but her feet never touched the ground. Her hair glowed faintly under the moonlight, and her eyes were empty yet alive. The town was divided. Some wanted to capture her. Some wanted to pray for her. Some wanted to run. Letters were sent to neighboring towns. "Help us! Something unnatural is here." But no one came. Fear had already claimed the Missouri Ozarks. One night, a group of men followed a trail of strange footprints to the river. There they found something that made their blood run cold: a circle of stones. Inside, a strange symbol carved into the earth: fresh blood, though no one could say from whom. And in the center, a single feather, white, yet tainted with red. The town's fear turned to obsession. Everyone watched Prudence Hoffman. Every glance, every movement, every word. And Prudence, she did not hide. She moved silently, unfazed, almost waiting. The shadows in the forests were no longer just shapes. They were alive, hunting, watching, whispering. And the town realized this was not just about Prudence. This was something bigger, something ancient, something that had been waiting for centuries. If you want to uncover the terrifying truth and see how Prudence Hoffman's story takes a darker turn, like, share, comment, and subscribe. The horror in the Missouri Ozarks has only just begun. The town could wait no longer. Fear had reached a breaking point. They needed answers. They needed someone to blame. A group of men, armed with lanterns and rifles, marched toward Prudence Hoffman's cabin. Their hands shook, hearts pounded. Every step felt heavier than the last. The forest seemed alive. Branches reached out like skeletal hands. Shadows twisted and writhed. Whispers followed them. When they reached the cabin, the door swung open. No one inside. Only a faint glow flickering in the corners, a chill that cut deeper than any blade. And then she appeared, Prudence Hoffman, calm, silent, watching, waiting. "Did you do this?" one man demanded. The wind answered. Her eyes, empty yet piercing, no words, no explanation. Just a presence that made the bravest man tremble. A sudden movement in the trees, figures emerging from the shadows, shapes twisted and unnatural. The men froze, their rifles dropped. Prudence stepped forward, the shadows followed, whispers grew louder, names, promises, threats carried on the wind. One man tried to approach. A hand of darkness shot out from the shadows, struck him to the ground, silent, motionless. The rest ran, screaming, tripping over roots, branches, rocks, fleeing the forest, fleeing the shadows. Prudence Hoffman remained, silent, unmoving, watching them disappear into the night. The town realized something terrifying. This was no ordinary woman. This was no ordinary fear. Prudence and whatever followed her was beyond understanding. And the whispers, they promised, this was only the beginning. If you dare to uncover what happens next, share this video, comment your theories, and subscribe. The darkness in the Missouri Ozarks is about to claim more souls. The town was quiet, too quiet. The forests whispered secrets only the brave or foolish dared hear. And then the truth came out. The truth no one expected. Prudence Hoffman was not entirely human, not in the way the townsfolk understood. She had been touched by something ancient, something that lived in the shadows. Those whispers in the trees, the moving shadows, the vanishing livestock, all of it connected to her. One night, the bravest among the town followed her into the forest. They found a clearing bathed in an unnatural glow, symbols etched into the earth, flickering lights dancing like spirits, and Prudence standing in the center. She raised her hands. The shadows answered. They stretched, coiled, and twisted. Eyes glimmered in the dark. Figures moved in ways no human could. A voice, soft but commanding, echoed, "Leave, or join them." The witness ran, but the forest had claimed him. By dawn, only his terrified eyes remained staring from the edge of town. Prudence Hoffman's power was undeniable. She was a bridge between the living and the darkness beyond. The town's fear was nothing compared to what she could summon. Families barricaded their doors. Hunters refused to enter the woods. Children no longer played outside. Every shadow was watched. Every whisper feared. And Prudence, she continued her walks, calm, silent. The glow in her cabin at night, a warning, a promise. The townsfolk realized they were trapped in a nightmare of their own making. The darkness was patient. It waited. It fed. Prudence Hoffman was no longer just a name. She was a legend, a terror, a force that would haunt the Missouri Ozarks forever. If you want to see what becomes of the town and how Prudence's story ends, like, share, comment your thoughts, and subscribe. The horrors of 1834 are about to reach their peak. The town was broken. Sleep was impossible. Fear had become their shadow. Every glance over the shoulder, every creak in the house, brought memories of that night. Prudence Hoffman was still there, watching, waiting. Her cabin at the edge of town glowed every night, a constant reminder of what had happened. People tried to rebuild. Houses were repaired, livestock replaced, but the fear remained. It was in the air, in the wind, in the way the shadows moved just slightly, too perfectly. Some tried to leave the town, but the forest seemed to stretch endlessly. Paths twisted, branches blocked the way, and whispers called their names, driving them back. No one dared confront Prudence again, not after the first encounter, not after seeing the shadows obey her. She moved silently through the town, calm, cold, as if the horrors around her were natural. Stories of that year spread, whispers in neighboring towns. Prudence Hoffman, the shadow woman of the Ozarks. Some claimed she was cursed. Some claimed she was a protector of something ancient, but no one could ever know for sure. Children grew up afraid of the forest. Men avoided her cabin. And Prudence remained at the edge of their lives, a silent force they could not understand. The town learned a hard lesson. Curiosity could be dangerous. Fear could be justified. And sometimes the shadows were alive. If you're ready to see the final chapter, to learn how this terrifying tale ends, share this video, comment your theories, and subscribe. The story of Prudence Hoffman is about to conclude. The Missouri Ozarks never returned to peace. The forest whispered, the shadows lingered, and Prudence Hoffman remained. Some say she vanished one night into the deepest parts of the forest. No one saw her again, yet her presence was felt in every rustle of leaves, every flicker of light. Others say she still walks among the shadows, watching, waiting, a force beyond comprehension, a reminder that darkness can touch even the smallest towns. The town tried to move on. Life continued, but fear never left. Every child grew up hearing her name. Every adult remembered the horrors of 1834. Prudence Hoffman became legend, a cautionary tale, a shadow story told by candlelight, the kind that makes you glance at the corner of a room and wonder what might be watching. And the forest, the Ozarks, kept its secrets, dark, ancient, patient, waiting for the next curious soul. Prudence Hoffman's story is a reminder. Some mysteries are meant to remain unsolved. Some shadows are better left alone. If this story chilled you to the bone, if you want more tales of terror from history's darkest corners, share this video, comment your thoughts, and subscribe, because some stories are not easily forgotten.